Welcome back to Social Enterprise World Forum TV, and our guest is Matt Pfalhert, the founder of the Australian Centre for Rural Entrepreneurship. Thank you for spending some time, Matt.
Pleasure, Tom.
It's always good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Yeah, fun to hang out in another country.
Yeah, it's a long way from home, but it's fun.
Yeah. So tell us about the inspiration, or like, what is it that ACRE does, and what was the inspiration behind founding it?
Yeah, so grown up in rural and regional Australia my entire life, and I suppose in the last kind of 30 years I've just kind of watched the decline in rural communities and also the declining opportunities for young people. And particularly in this kind of ever-changing, globalised, uncertain but exciting world, I just really struggle with the fact that we haven't had a vehicle for young people to realise their ideas into action at that real community level where young people want to be. It's almost like the default position for young people is that they've got to leave. And all of those leadership resources and all of those kind of enhancement programs that we have around our society for young people go into those, high achieving young people who are going to leave anyway. And so for me it's about how do you kind of help young people navigate this new world in the absence of an education system that's doing it. So the idea that our education system is still structured around an industrial revolution style approach to creating the job seekers to fit the jobs, and we know the world's changed. So since 2007, tripling of youth unemployment in Australia, worst in the rural and regional areas. Those traditional jobs that young people took up to start their careers don't exist any longer, and we really do see that we can have exciting and thriving rural communities if we ignite entrepreneurship in young people and their communities. So what's exciting about being here in Scotland is that our partnership with the Social Enterprise Academy, so we've got the social licence agreement for Australia. We're one of 12 countries now that are in the partnership hub, but the Social Enterprise Academy started here in Scotland, and it's been really pivotal in young people starting to understand the idea that you can be a great citizen in your community, but you can also be really enterprising at the same time. So their In Schools program that we've been working with for 3 years is currently expanding into every school here in Scotland. So it's really inspiring to be back here and to just see how everyone else is doing it, because we've spent the last 3 years kind of proof of concept sort of piloting stage with this program, and now we're mapping it to the Victorian curriculum. And so once that happens, we're seeing that young people from right across Victoria can access this kind of learning, which is very experiential and can start really young. So we've got lots and lots of classes of kids who are starting in grade 5. So it's really, really exciting time. So as young people come through with that ability and kind of agency to solve problems in their local communities, but doing it in an enterprising way, then it's really important that our broader community, our influencers, whether they're government or community or business influencers in particular areas, become that enabling environment. And our attitude to this is, look, you need to support this stuff or get out of the way. And so that's what is exciting. Young people are the Trojan horse here, but they're also the great agents for change. And there's only two things that we know of in rural communities that people really agree on. One's opportunities for young people, and the other one is the place where they live. So that's our approach.
And I know you were at a side event prior to the main summit that was specifically exploring issues around the regional application of social entrepreneurship, I guess. I'm curious what you found kind of the most similar but also the most distinct about what you're doing in Australia versus other people who are pursuing similar ends but in different regional communities around the world.
Yeah, so the issues we face are all universal. A lot of us have First Nation communities as well, and we've typically all done a really appalling job at that kind of inclusive economy for our First Nations people. So that's something we all have in common and really care about. So the attitude of government often is quite similar in every part of the world except for Scotland. So the difference is the sort of beacon of light, if you like, is the Scottish experience. Yeah. So Highlands and Islands Enterprise has a 50-year background in building economic development through a community development lens. And I think that's the way of the future. The idea that you take a business development approach to an economic development sort of solution, it's kind of had its day, I think. You know, the big business coming to town to bring the 200 jobs into our rural areas is just never going to happen again. The real anchor organisations of our economies in the future is going to happen through local entrepreneurship. It's going to be those local placemaker orientated people who can collaborate with others and build the real businesses of the future that everyone buys into. That's the sort of new economy, but that takes kind of community capacity building and know-how and collaboration, and they're things that we've typically not embraced very well.
Yeah. So final question that we're asking everyone. Obviously you work with lots of entrepreneurs in your area, and lots of young people especially who are trying entrepreneurship and learning entrepreneurship. What do you think is one key characteristic of successful social entrepreneurs?
The most important characteristics of a really successful social entrepreneur is a dogged determination. And it's not a characteristic, but it's a feature, is that they need to be solving a real problem. There are thousands of solutions looking for a problem.
Yep.
And I think where the real problem is getting solved by someone who's doggedly determined, then you've got the key assets for success.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time.
Good on you, mate.